Greetings everybody, this is Miss Bailey here to tell you about your book choices for the dystopian literature circles. First up is The Hunger Games. You have probably heard a lot about this book, and if you have not yet seen the movie, you can watch the trailer by clicking on the link. This book follows Katniss Everdeen as she takes her sister's place in the Hunger Games, a battle to the death in the capital. In her attempt to just survive, she inadvertently starts a rebellion and causes the capital to go into a flurry. This is the first in a series, so if you like series books, this might be the one for you. Second option is a book called Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. Imagine that you are a young boy of 8 and something about you is different. And suddenly you are enlisted to become a soldier, and not just any soldier, but the youngest, most advanced soldier in the fleet. Poor Ender is this young boy who ends up being manipulated into doing something he never thought even possible. This story does have some tough bits of dialogue. In fact, there's a part of the story that Ender doesn't even know about until the very, very end. What he discovers about what he's been manipulated into doing will change his life forever. Your third option is a book called Tomorrow When the War Began. Imagine that you go on a camping trip with your buddies, and when you return, you find that everyone is gone. It looks as though people just dropped what they were doing and left immediately. Ellie and her friends come back to find that all of her family and all of her friends' families have been taken prisoner by an unidentified foreign army. They must make a decision whether they go back to their campsite where they know they won't be discovered and they'll be safe, or they risk their lives to try and save their families. This book does have a little bit of romance to it, so if you are not interested in romance, you may not want to read this one. But if you would like to see how 7 friends try to decide whether they need to protect themselves or protect their families, this might be the one for you. Shipbreaker. This book is about what happens when global warming ends up being a huge problem in the world. There is an interview with the author if you click on the link. The basic plot of this story is that Naylor, a young boy who is a shipbreaker, which means he goes onto the ships and he scavenges for metal and other resources to sell, finds a shipwreck. And when he finds the shipwreck, he realizes he might have made it big. He's going through and he's scavenging everything he can find, including walking around dead bodies, when he finds a young girl who seems to be dead, but she's obviously very wealthy. As he's trying to take a ring off of her finger, he sees that she's still breathing. Naylor has to decide, do I leave her for dead and seek my fortune with all of this scavenge, or do I save her life and hope that she'll reward him? His decision will change the rest of his life and the lives of all of his friends around him. That is Shipbreaker. Birthmarked is another really good choice for those of you who are interested in a more scientific type of dystopian novel. This story follows a young midwife who is learning how to deliver babies from her mother, who is also the town midwife. Every first 3 babies of the month are taken from their mothers and given to the enclave. This is the way it's always been. But once she has to start delivering her own babies and giving them to the enclave and stealing them from their mothers, she starts to question whether or not this is the right thing to do. When her mother and father go missing and she tries to find out why they have left and where they have gone, she finds out that there's more to these babies than she originally thought. She has to go through all kinds of mystery and intrigue to find out where her parents have gone, and she must decide what she's willing to risk in order to save her family. The Maze Runner by James Dashner. This is a story about Thomas, who wakes up in an elevator. Once the doors open, he finds he's in a place called the Glade. There are numerous other young boys there who have created their own society, but there's something unique about this Glade. It's enclosed by walls, and every night the gates close, and every morning they open again, and outside of the gates is the maze. And they're trying to find a way to escape the maze, and at night the grievers come out in the maze and they attack all of the boys who live in the Glade. Thomas starts to have these dreams that might tell him there's more to this maze than he originally thought. One day they hear the familiar rumble of the elevator, and when the doors open, there's a girl, and on her arm is a note that says she will be the last. This changes everything. Thomas starts to question everything, especially when he finds he can speak to the mind of the girl. He starts to realize that he is not what he always thought he was. Delirium. What if love was illegal? What if love was a disease? What if you were cured from this disease to have a common life, but that cure meant that you didn't feel anything anymore? This is a story of a young girl who has to face the decision whether she wants to be cured of love or she wants to risk everything and run away to a society that's only rumored to exist, where love can survive. Legend. This is a book that goes in between two different perspectives. You have Day, the most wanted criminal in all of the society, or June, the highest qualified and youngest soldier that there is. Day is accused of killing June's brother. When June goes to find Day to try and discover what really happened, she also finds out that everything she thought was true in reality is a lie. She has to decide whether she'll work with Day. Day has to decide whether he trusts June, and together they realize that they may actually have the same goal. Those are your options. Please make sure that you rank all of them. Number 1 would be your top choice. Number 8 would be your last choice. Make sure your name is on that piece of paper and make sure that you get it to me. Thank you.